Yes, sir. John Budrus, 1262 Minerva Avenue, West Islip, New York, 11795. Good evening. Thank you. Have a great night, guys.
Speak a little bit loud, I'm sorry. 1952 Louis Kossuth Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York, 11779. I'm sorry. I'm Antoinette Sanfilippo. That's Marianne LaRocco. I'm sorry. I can't hear. Sorry.
How are you tonight? How are you? Good? You seeking to permit two-family use only, age of the criteria, everything seems to be in order. Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan will take a motion.
Chairman, I move to grant the application for a period of 3 years.
All in favor? Application granted. See you in 3 years. No problem. Roll.
Samantha Roach.
Kenneth Roach, 74 Beaver Dam Road, Islip, New York, 11751.
How are you tonight?
Fine, sir. How are you?
Here's good. Thank you. Here's the tape measure a little bit better, and they put this in 17.3 instead of 18.
Yes, sir.
Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan will take a motion.
Chairman, move to grant the application.
All in favor? Application granted. Have a great
Thank
night.
you.
O. Pablo Martinez and Ana Yanchi Sanchez Marquez. Permission to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Islip County Code 68-602. Include a shed having a side yard of 1 foot, standard required 2 feet. Residence acres on the west side of Basement Avenue, 74, 1,000.05 feet north of Suffolk Avenue, Central Islip, New York. Welcome, name and address for the record, please.
Roxanne Trellett, Dynamic Expediting Services with offices at 1040 Terry Road, Ronkonkoma, New York.
How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you? Here to establish an accessory apartment. The apartment is owner occupied. The apartment is 602 square feet. The driveway does need to be modified to meet engineering specifications. And then as far as the shed goes, it's a small shed, 10 by 8. It's been there about 5 to 7 years, and it's 1 foot instead of 2 feet required.
Great. Obviously, as you know, driveway, we need to comply. Right,
Yes.
so as you stated, does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan will take a motion.
Chairman, I move to grant the application
Second.
for a period of 3 years.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes, thank you.
Next application number 149-22.
Excuse me?
74 K Smith.
Can you guys hear back there or no?
Yep.
Very
Why don't you
hard.
move forward?
It's the wonderful acoustics we have here in the town of Islip.
Oh, you know, you missed this place when you were home.
I did miss this place. I can't complain because I don't want to be home. Is that better? I feel important.
You are important.
Okay. You have a copy of me. Our next application is number 149-22. Rivera and Chatal Yagan, permission to leave egress window, having a side yard of 7 feet, instead of permitting the person setback of 11 feet. Vacant location, northeast corner of Grafton Street, number 1, Eisenhower Avenue, Grafton, New York. I'm sorry.
Here again.
Welcome back.
Roxanne Trella, Dynamic Expediting Services with offices at 1040 Terry Road, Ronkonkoma, New York.
How are you tonight?
I'm good, thank you. We are here to maintain the egress window in its current location. It holds a 7-foot side yard instead of the permitted encroachment of 11 feet. The house itself only maintains 11 feet, so it would be impossible for the window well to adhere to that. It is only the 3 feet width that New York State requires, and then has another foot for the concrete surrounding it. Based on the inspector's report, this was the perfect location for a second means of egress, which is why they placed it here.
Great. Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to grant the application.
All in favor?
Forever.
Next application is a public renewal number 150-22, Eno Valera Mangiamento, to renew permit for accessory apartment pursuant to Islip Town Code Section 68-16, Residential District Northwest corner of Danvers, number 121, and Boston Avenue, Bayshore, New York. Welcome back.
Roxanne Trella, Dynamic Expediting Services with offices at 1040 Terry Road, Ronkonkoma, New York.
Good evening again.
Good evening. This accessory apartment was established on January 22nd, 2019 under ZBA number 065-19. At that time, we had represented that the apartment was 508 square feet, owner occupied, and the driveway was approved by engineering. That is still the case today. There was a fire at the house, so at this current time, the house is not occupied, it's vacant, but it's being built exactly to what existed at the time. And in order for that application to go forward, we do need the renewal to be approved. I know that there was some complaints from some neighbors. We also provided a letter of support from an adjacent neighbor for the file. If it's not in the file and you didn't have a chance to read it, I also have it and could read it into the record.
We have it, yeah.
We've also had several inspections conducted by code enforcement, dating all the way back from right when the apartment was established all the way through today. We had one investigator, Lenny Schnall, there back in January of 2020. The complaint was for a change of use and a container on the property. Both those complaints were unfounded and the case was closed. We had another investigator there in September of 2020, Marianne Pasqualino. The complaint was for a change of use. Again, that complaint was unfounded and closed. We had another complaint back in February where we had an investigator, John Feehan, there, and he was accompanied by his supervisor, Robin Benson. At that point, the complaint was again for a change of use, a shed, and a gate not being self-closing, self-latching. The change of use complaint was the shed complaint was unfounded. There's only one shed on the property, always has been there, and it's undersized, does not require a permit. The self-latching gate was in disrepair. They repaired it, and that complaint was rectified within 2 weeks and signed off on. And at this moment, the only open notice on the file is for the fire damage.
Okay. Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Okay, one at a time. If you can please come on up and name and address for the record, please.
My name is Edward Alfano. I live at 1229 Boston Avenue, Bayshore.
How are you tonight, sir?
Very good, sir. I'm sorry? ALFANO. I live directly across the street from the accessory apartment. Okay? In November, there was a fire at the house. It was very clear 3 families lived in the house. They all had to evacuate the house. I believe these are good, hardworking people. I have nothing personal against them. I'm retired on a fixed income. I would love very much to have 3 families live in my house to help me pay my rent, my mortgage, and my taxes. But I don't. I want to follow the laws. And with the fire, I had the fire department in my driveway. They were complaining to me because of the illegal apartments that were in the house and their ability to get to the damage or the fire directly right in my house, right across the street. I felt horrible to see a fire. I felt horrible to see people leave. But the fact of the matter, I just heard a half a dozen complaints. These complaints are real. They're very real. There's 3 apartments in that building. There's not just an accessory. There's the main apartment, there's the accessory apartment, and then there's another apartment. And like I said, it's not personal. They seem like all good people. But directly across the street, since November, has been a 30-yard container from my house. When I leave my house, I see a 30-yard container. I've been in construction my whole life. I've worked as a contractor and I worked as a supervisor. Containers stay on a job 3, 4, 5 days, and then they go. Christmas Day, finally COVID's done. I was able to invite my family. They walk out of my house, they see a container. So
Is it still there though? Because
it's still there. I have a picture on my phone.
I can't see. I can't. We
It's
can't.
been there since I'm going to say Thanksgiving. It sits there, it's full. The debris blows off out of it onto my tree. Not a big deal. This stuff happens with the high winds. The fact of the matter, there's 3 apartments in that house. There always has been. Not always has been. I'm living there 30 years. It hasn't always has been. But since this last owner has the house, there has been. And it's not fair. It's not fair to me. My taxes are almost $11,000 a year. And, it's just not fair.
Understood. Thank you for your time.
All right.
Does anyone else wish to be heard in this application? Just please state your name and address for the record.
My name's Nancy Reagan. I live at 1231 Boston Avenue.
How are you
Right.
tonight?
I'm very good. How about yourself?
Good, thank you.
So I live across the street. I live next to Mr. Alfano. And I also get to have the view of the dumpster. And I also get to enjoy the cars parked on the side of the road. Not now. There hasn't been any since November. Up 3 to 4 to 5 cars parked across from mine in his driveway. The other thing that happens that gets a little upsetting is like 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday. Everybody can have a party. That's not a big deal. But I don't need to enjoy the party in my backyard. I have a video. I mean, if I played a few now, everyone could enjoy the music from the DJ. And this happens constantly because there's a lot of families. I also am a school teacher at the high school here. And I do know the family, one of the families that lives there, and they are wonderful people. And I feel bad that they've been displaced from the fire. But what scares me the most is that they got out of the fire, but maybe they wouldn't have if it were in the middle of the night instead of at 10:30 at night when it happened. Just too many people, and it's not safe, and it's not fair.
Thank you for your time. Does anyone else wish to be heard in this application? Come on up. Please just state your name and address clearly for the court reporter for the record.
Hi, I'm Dina McCreary, and I live at 1236 Boston Avenue.
How are you tonight?
McCreary, McCreery. My front yard backs to their backyard. So I will share with you.
Your front yard.
So if you face my house, they're on the corner. Their backyard comes to my side yard. So I benefit. My master bedroom walls shake when they have the DJ playing at night at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and when they don't answer the door when I ring the doorbell, and I can see them all partying in the house, and when I have to yell over the fence and I get snide comments back and mocked for asking them to turn the music down. I will show you what the shed looks like because I just took these pictures today.
Give it to Jed.
out the garbage that they can't fit in their house because they have it jam-packed to the gills. I also was there the night of the fire and saw and spoke to the fire department and watched them have to break through the extra apartment that was built in the garage because the garage was converted to an apartment. There's a separate entrance into the garage. They have a ground floor apartment, and then they have the second floor. It's a high ranch. So because I just got the notice, I need to foil the fire marshal's report. But when I called the fire marshal's office, I was told that there would be violations reported. I'm not sure if you can automatically, this is a question for how the zoning board works. Can you grant a permit when there are active violations? There should be, and I didn't pay the $50 for the violation search yet. If it comes to that, I guess we'll have to. But is that a matter of course? Can a permit be granted when there are violations on the property?
Depends on what they are.
Okay, do you have access to the fire marshal's report and code enforcement's record of violations, or do I have to order a violation search in order
Well,
to find that out?
Honestly, ma'am, we're going to look at this file in full to figure out what's really going on here, because the applicant's professional stated a lot of the stuff was unfounded. The neighbors are saying it's there, so.
Oh, it's there. And do you have, and before I finish with mine, I know our other neighbor who couldn't be there sent a letter. Do you have Barbara McFadden's letter
We
from
have all the letters,
1233
yes.
Boston? Okay, because if not, she sent it to me to read, but if you have that on the
I
record.
have it right here in front of me.
Okay. Sorry, just going through my notes. The gate to the pool is open all of the time.
Okay.
It is not, if it was at the time of their inspection, it is no longer a self-closing. I'm not saying, I'm just going through some of the list. Okay, fine. When I look at the application in the town code, what's required for an accessory apartment, that there's only one permitted.
Yep.
So I will maintain that they had two apartments and therefore have violated, and it says that the board can revoke that accessory apartment permit if it's founded that they have violated. I believe if you look at the fire marshal's report, you will see that there were two separate apartments on the first floor and that this was an illegal 3-family dwelling.
Okay.
So, and it says maintenance of the structure and property. These are not good neighbors as far as maintaining the property. They're disrespectful, loud, inconsiderate, and the yard looks like a trash yard.
And the other young lady testified. Right, so, which is,
They're wonderful, hardworking people with great ethics. They raise their children right,
Well,
and
you-
they're
ma'am,
trying.
and you're not up there.
You're not up yet, though. You gotta, once you come up, you can get your chance. We just need your name, we need your name and address for the record, so. So,
Anyway, that's my.
But I would ask and will request that the board revoke the accessory apartment permit. I will maintain that they were given an inch, which is one apartment permit, and took a mile, which is installed two apartments in the house. They do not maintain the property well, and the noise from the house is excessive.
thank you.
And we are hardworking people as well and enjoy our sleep and the right to.
I appreciate your time.
So,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Does anyone else wish to be heard in this application? You can, if you like. Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Marissa Bunton. My address is 117 Danbury Street. I am their direct neighbor. Directly. Buten.
So, hang on a second. Can you tell us-
Sorry, I'm like super shaking right now because that just got me so mad. And we have to run to bring these boys to Islip wrestling. But I'll try and be calm and say what I
Well,
have
we
to
don't
say.
bite and you only speak in us.
No. I'm just, I get
We'll
anxious.
get you there on time.
Okay. And Layla, we adore them, but that's not even the issue at factor here. I don't understand why any of these people are saying they are loud over the time frame, what's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock? They are not. They are respectful. They are in their house with music. They have outside parties they have two children, Donna and Ori. They have parties for them. Yes, they're outside. Yes, they have a DJ. So does every normal other person on the block. Some people are not normal. They do not have any parties, period. They celebrate nothing, period. That's okay. We can all be different. But they're not doing anything to break any rules or disrupt anyone. Like I said, I am their
Let me
direct
ask-
Families have you observed living in that house?
two that I'm aware
So,
of.
so you're saying
Two
the
families.
applicant
The
and-
applicant
and an
and a
accessory
tenant, which we love their tenant too. Cute little boy, love them. We rushed home when my mother was watching the children. We rushed home the night of the fire from where we were because they're my neighbors. They're my neighbors. I love them dearly. I wanted to make sure I could do anything in my power to make sure they're okay. We came home. There was not one of any of these people
Just speak-
outside.
just
I'm
speak to
sorry,
us.
but this annoys me very much.
I understand.
Not one of them were outside. Not one of them asked for help. When the fire marshal was there, me and my husband was speaking to them the entire time. There was no neighbors. None. I brought blankets out to them. I brought towels out to them. I brought water out to them. I took their children in my house.
So
We-
you're
there-
stating for the record that there's only one family living in the accessory apartment?
In the top well, it's a high ranch. There's an upstairs and a downstairs. Downstairs there's one family. Upstairs there's one family. We get invited to these parties. We have hung out with them.
So so you've heard the other neighbors state the garage.
That is it's a converted for the downstairs whole apartment. If you go into a high ranch,
I understand the high range. So you're saying that the downstairs apartment is the applicants? That's where they
I
live?
would imagine no, the downstairs apartment is in.
Okay, so how many kitchens? Just two? The whole house?
I have never been to the downstairs apartment. It is not. I don't just walk into their house. I have been into their dwelling, so I do not know. But I'm going to assume there's only two families living in that house. I know there's only two families living in that house, so there is only two kitchens.
Okay.
If there even is a second kitchen, I don't even know that. But I do know that there's two families.
Okay.
And what was the other points? I'm sorry. I just.
No, I just wanted to.
I just really, they're really good people. They're not, and some of these other neighbors, they are kind. They're very nice. I've waved to them countless times. The dumpster situation. Listen, if you have a
You gotta
problem with
speak
their
this way. You
dumpster,
gotta speak
they
this
had to have had a problem with our dumpster. We are doing renovations that lasted over a year.
Yes.
Over a year, our renovations because of COVID and everything else that went along with that building. We had 2 extensions put on. Everything is to code. We went through you guys. It's all good. But we had a dumpster outside for months,
Sure.
because we had to wait. We kept getting pushed back.
We're just here for the exception.
No. I'm aware. I'm just saying, just points that other people have brought up. That's irrelevant.
Okay.
I mean, do I like to look at certain people's house? Do I like to look at somebody's backyard, someone's window in my backyard? No, their house is in my backyard. Yes. Do I need to call on every single thing that they do? No, I don't, because I didn't build their house that way.
Sure.
For the most part, Layla gardens. She keeps the front yard looking beautiful. He works extremely hard, just like my husband's an iron worker. They're barely ever home. We have a landscaper. They got a landscaper. We try as much. They try. We're all trying as much as we can to make our yards look nice. I'm sorry if we don't have as much money, or they don't have as much money as other people, but
We get
the
your
point
point.
the
We
point,
get you.
yeah,
Appreciate
the
it.
point is, they're good people. I think if any of them went into the house, they would see that there's 2 dwellings, just because some Hispanic cultures have a lot of families sleep over, have people come in and out from different countries or to visit. I mean, you're gonna call on every time I have my extended family come stay over for an extended period of time. I think it's crazy. That doesn't mean they're living there.
Sure.
It doesn't mean I have a whole separate setup for them.
Sure.
And
Understood.
I guess that's all. That's all.
Understood. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to be heard in this application? I explained to you before, ma'am, I don't have it in this file. We're going to look into this file before we. Well, we're going to check that when we get the report into the file. Yep. I appreciate that. Does anyone else wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any further questions? Roxanne, would you like to say a few?
I do. I just wanted to address a couple of issues. First, the garage conversion, it is converted and it does have to maintain that separation that is possibly referred to in the fire marshal's report. I haven't seen it, so I'm not sure, but there is a separation there and it's supposed to be there because the accessory apartment is on the first floor. It was over the 800 square feet, so the garage portion is separated from the accessory and part of the second story. The garage portion is just one open room that you can get to from the top of the stairs, and then the utility and the boiler room.
So, okay. That's going to ask questions. Okay. No. Sorry. You can get to it from the main.
From the main dwelling
Applicants.
on the second floor,
Okay.
not from the accessory. So there would be a big wall there that you would have to break through. Exactly. Exactly, which you would need to break through.
Okay.
That was the first issue. The second,
Hold on one second.
the other issue I just wanted to point out are the numerous complaints that were called into code enforcement. Code enforcement does not schedule inspections. They are meant to be surprise inspections so that if a violation exists, they can address it. Each time the code enforcement investigator went to the house, they were granted immediate access. And I point that out because it could be said that if, the code enforcement went and then they went back 2 weeks later, you could move things around or change them so that you could pass an inspection. That wasn't the instance here. They were granted immediate access. Absolutely not. We had an investigator and a supervisor there last month in anticipation of this hearing, just so that their report could be made part of the file to show that they saw that the dwelling exists. And we gave them a copy of the plans, which are also part of PermitNet and they had access to, and they verified that the layout was consistent with the plans that we provided to the town for our permit.
Yes, it's possible.
Good. Yeah, anything further? Roxanne?
Nope, that's it.
Does anyone else wish to be heard? Does the board have any further questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to reserve decision.
All in favor? As you know, we have 62 days by law. We're going to look into the file and we'll render a decision. We'll do it as fast as we can.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
The next application is number 161-22, Crystal Deborah J. Juicy. Permission to erect first and second story additions to the side yard from 1919. Instead of the required 14 feet, total side yard is 20.9 feet. Instead of the required 28 feet, second story balcony with a front yard of 23.6 feet. Instead of the required 25 feet. More area ratio 29.6%. 5%. Leave a patio on the outside property line, not having the required setback. 4 feet, Resident Street District 278 plus the east side of Green Belt Parkway west of 1. 829.3 feet south of Shadow Road and over to the north. Sir, your name is address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Joseph Gabriel, and I am the architect for the Gajewskis.
How are you tonight?
The address is 4250 Veterans Highway, Holbrook, New York.
Thank you.
So you can see that we've made some additions to the property, which has got us to the floor area ratio of 29.6, and you can obviously see the reason we're doing this. So we're asking for approval of all of the yard alterations and the FAR to under 30%.
Nothing seems too extreme here. You know, we hold 30% as our
I knew that, and I made sure I came in underneath
I
that
like
number.
that.
Not my first time here.
I can't imagine that planning has any objections to the modest. Nope. Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, move to grant the application.
All in favor? Application granted. Congratulations.
Thank you all.
Good luck.
Thank you. Next application is the 152-22 Joseph F. and Margaret A. Gill, permission to erect a roof over patio, being side yard of 13.8 feet, instead of required 18 feet. Residence Subway District, west side of Grissom Way, number 24, 241.5 feet south of New York. Welcome, sir. Your name and address for the record, please.
Joseph Gill, 24 Grissom Way, Hauppauge, New York, 11788.
How are you tonight?
Hanging in.
Looking to erect a roof over patio, 13.8 instead of 18. Is there any precedent for side yard, Deirdre? So this is for the side yard, right? Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion.
Chairman, move to grant the application.
All in favor?
Thank you all.
Application granted. Have a great night.
Have a good evening.
Next application number 153-22, Lucio Modesto Villara, 8 Fuentes. Permission to leave a roof over patio on the side yard of 6.7 feet, required 14 feet. The total side yard is 22.7 feet, that is required 28 feet. District east side, contributed land 46 feet. Right? Is there any use for the applicant? Second call, please.
Second call.
Next application number 154-22, Tristan Costa. Permission to erect a second story addition, 32 by 39, 49 feet regular. 5 feet to the required 25 feet. Indian New York, and your name and address, please.
Nicole Costa, 11 Karen Drive, Salem, New York, 117.
How are you tonight?
Good, thanks. How are
If you can just pull that microphone down because we can't really hear you with this wonderful
Sure.
acoustic we have here in town of Islip.
Would you like me to repeat, sir?
Beautiful place we're here. So you're seeking permission to erect second story, rear yard 21.5 instead of 25.
Yes, that's correct.
Looks like the household's 21.8 as it is now, right?
Yes, we would just like to go above the existing first floor.
No objection from planning, David? Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Yeah, does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan will take a motion.
Chairman, move to grant the application.
All in favor? Application granted.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck. Have a great night.
Thank you
Next
for.
application is 155-22, Michael and Hillary Kearns, permission to use the shed at 4 feet behind front line of dwelling, required 20 feet, residential district east side, extension drive number 9, 844 feet west, 9 feet. Besides from New York, anyone here for the applicant? No one here, second call, please, Mr. Chair.
Second call.
Next application number 156-22, Cynthia Gaston, permission to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Iceland Town Code Section 2-16. 135 feet east of Iceland Avenue, Iceland, New York. Welcome.
Cynthia Gaston, 67 D Street, Islip of New York.
I got it wrong. Gaston, Gaston.
It's okay.
How are you tonight?
I'm okay, just hanging in there.
Good.
Just hanging.
That's all I can do.
You made our night.
Thank you.
Permission to establish accessory apartment. The driveway complies. It's under 800 square feet. It looks like everything's in order, right, Mary?
Everything's in order. The apartment was modified slightly to bring it under 800 square feet, so everything's good.
She's the brains of the operation.
Yes, thank you.
Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion.
Chairman, I move to grant the application for a period of 3 years.
All in favor? Aye. Application granted. See you in 3 years.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have
I
a great
really
night.
appreciate it.
Have a good one. Make sure you finish up with the building department,
Yes,
okay?
yes, I will.
Okay.
Next application number 157-22, 22 Stephen Manuel Romero, Luis Rodriguez Vasquez, permission to use elephant as an accepted brush yard of 20.9 feet, study required 25 feet, and extent by 4.5 feet on the front line of the dwelling, required 10 feet. RRD northwest corner of residential development district, northwest corner of Beach Street, number 46,
Steven Leonard Romero, 46 Beach Street, Central Heights, New York, 11722.
How are you tonight?
Very good.
Excuse me one second. I missed fence. That's fine. So what, but it's not like it's a. We're just wondering about your fence. We've never really seen it. But
Well, it says that we got to move it back, so we did.
yeah, good, no problem. So you have the cellar entrance. It's in the second front yard, never to be enclosed, correct? You'll never enclose it?
No, so
Okay, great. And the fence 4.5 instead of the 10 feet. I don't see any issue with it. Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, move to grant the application.
All in favor? Application granted. Have a great night.
thank you.
Next application, number 158-22, Brandon Hamchuk from Lindsay East. Permission to a 20-story addition, usually front yard 34 feet, center required 40 feet, side yard of 9.5 feet, center required 14 feet. 75 feet south of the Boulevard, New York, 7.
Brandon Hamchuk, 783 Pat Drive, West Islip, New York.
How are you tonight?
Very well, yourself? All right, so I am here to ask relief of your front yard and side yard variances. I am encroaching 5'3" into the front yard to push my garage a little forward. It will not be any nearer to the street than my permitted encroachment of the porch. As far as the side yard, in order to get the proper clearance for my garage, I need that side yard, so I'm pushing it out.
I love the fact that you think we can see that.
You can't see
Damn
that.
thing up here.
I mean,
We have it.
Even if it were nicely done, some of us, you know, we really don't have
We,
time.
we have it, I think, right here.
Yes, you have it there.
Um,
So-
Hang on a second. sir.
Yep, sure. So the letters before you are.
Hang on.
Yeah.
All
I-
right. Sir, you might be able to.
So you found 10 and 10.5, he's asking for 9.5.
With that, I know it's not within 500, a radius of 500 feet, but,
You don't have to worry, she just gave you a
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, because I found 8.6 and
present.
9.7.
You
Yeah.
can only make it worse.
Yeah, you can only make it worse.
You look really good.
Are you,
Perfect.
are you okay with us taking a vote? Unless you
Yes.
want to keep going, you can.
No,
Does anyone wish to be, does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to grant the application. Second.
All in favor? Application granted. Good luck.
Thank you. Have a great night.
All right, let's just go back to the first section called Olga V. Torres. Is there anyone here on that application?
We have a
Uh,
few seconds.
Yeah, we should see it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Next application, number 159-22, Roger A. Kalinowski and Laurie A. Canaro. Permission to install in-ground pool with water feature, leaving a rear yard of 6 feet, center required 14 feet. To install pool patio, moving rear yard of landscaping 28.7%, center required 40%. Northwest corner of Rockaway Street, 545, Hitching Avenue, Islip, New York. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Deborah Yelvington, YELV as in Victor, INGTON, of Dynamic Permits, located at 20 Waterford Drive, Wheatley Heights, New York, 11798. Agent for the owner, who's also here.
How are you tonight? How are you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Roger Kalinowski, 545 Rockaway Street, West Islip.
Great. How are you tonight, sir? Good. How are you? Good, thanks.
Mr. Chairman, we're requesting for that reduced rear yard for the proposed in-ground pool. The pool's width is 12 foot 6 inches, and we have the 30 foot as the length. So we are hard pressed on the scenario of this house that we have a rear exit platform and also an egress well in the backyard that makes it a bit tight on that pool and allowing more than a 3 foot walk around from that pool. You have the proposed plan, or I've highlighted one if you want this up in front of you, showing both our green space and the proposed patio areas on that. The homeowner is proposing to have a waterfall feature that will help cut down any noise or disturbance between him and the other neighbor. And also there'll be screening of plantings, bushes, shrubs along that fence line, as well as the full length of the property. Sorry? Yeah.
Is there any, Deidre, is there any precedent for rear yard? What's directly behind? That's the side yard of someone's house, right?
The owners have also spoken to their neighbors, and we have 5 letters of support, including that neighbor on the opposite side of that fence. I'm not sure if the email to Austin went to the file, but we'd like to submit them now, signed affidavits, if we can hand them up. I know there's once in a while an exception for the type of lot. Yeah. The west side of the house, there's no room for the pool there, and then we have, the 2 front yards. So considering that,
Is there any way to make the pool a little smaller?
well, it's at 12 and a half, so it's pretty narrow. After that, it kind of looks like a lap pool, which the owners have 4 children, so it'll be a little overcrowded by the time they get in there.
Well, I think you feel what the board is coming to, and I want to give you the opportunity, or your client the opportunity, to possibly take a small adjournment and come back with a little different, less of a relief for that rear. I don't know how we have no precedent in the area. I don't know how we can give it over 50% relief of the rear yard. Although it's beautiful, I understand what you're saying, but we also have a job to do and uphold the zoning code for this area. So we can't change. Everyone would come in and say, you gave them, why can't you give us? And then
Well,
we got
right.
pools up there.
Considering the egress and the rear platforms that help support that exception at all?
Again, that might support a couple of feet, not support.
Mhm.
I don't know if any of that is that type.
So would you like to take a small adjournment and
Can we offer 7 feet as a setback?
we can't play let's make a deal here. 7 feet is still 50%.
Okay, so is 8 foot the minimum
I-
that you'll typically?
Again, I'm not going to play let's make a deal here. I appreciate what you're trying to do for your client, but if you'd like,
We would rather not come back because of the seasons and the pool companies getting, stacked. So if you would grant the 8 foot, we would receive that, please. I'm sorry?
Said, and if we're not going to do 8 feet, we'd rather walk out of it.
Well, or maybe we'll I don't know what they'll do about the pool.
Otherwise,
We-
you can start the process all over.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot more.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I thought though,
But here's the thing, right, if you can, you have 3 members of the board here, you need 3 votes to approve.
Mhm.
Which you want. You gotta run the table. You're the second. So, your choice, we'll vote if you want us to, if you're the chairman of the top. I have no problem with it. If you want us to. I have a feeling that the result is going to be back a lot longer because
okay, I'm sorry. Do we need to take an adjournment then to come back at either 8 foot, or you're saying maybe 10 feet, or that could be established tonight?
I got to be honest with you. I don't know even how 8 feet is going to work, in my opinion. So, but you have a rectangular pool. Maybe if you have a different shaped pool, you only have certain parts of it, features of it. If it's shifted over a little bit, maybe you can get something a little that would work for this yard. It's beautiful. I understand what you're saying, but we have never granted this before with that rear yard. And if we do, we're going to have to grant it that way. So if you want to have a conversation with your client, you're short of German, think about something different, you can come back and try for the 8 feet, and then you'll have the full board here. I'm not sure it's going to make any difference, but I can't speak for the entire board. I can speak for myself.
Okay, and the adjournment you're saying then would reschedule in a couple of weeks to come back?
Yeah, we can give you an open adjournment date that we have here. but
April 12th.
April 12th.
And the full board you're saying would be there? Because,
more like
More, yes,
more than 3.
more than 3.
oh, okay,
We have 1 member sick and 1 member's, 2
I
members
see.
sick.
Okay, I'm sorry. Excuse me
No,
1
it's-
minute.
It's all right. Short of German? Is that what you like?
Yes, please.
Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any further questions? Make a motion to adjourn until April 12th. All in favor? Have a great night.
Thank you.
Next
Can I get that board back? Sorry.
Do you want, can we get it back?
Sure. This application number 160-22, Laura J. Egno. Permission to establish accessory apartment pursuant to Town Code Section 58 and 602. And to the second story entry platform in the state of Texas, section 7.5, Residence Acres, east side of Graff Avenue, 427. These distinguished 57.88 feet north of Church Street, Holbrook, New York. The name is
Hi, Laura Hegna, 427 Raft Avenue, Holbrook, New York, 11741.
How are you tonight?
I am well, thank you, and yourself.
Good, thanks. Second story entry platform, 11.5 instead of 14. Deirdre, any objection? No objections. Everything else seems to be in order. Apartment 600 square feet, driveway complies. Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion.
Chairman, would grant the application for a period of 3 years.
All in favor? Application granted, see you in 3 years.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening.
You too.
Next application, 161-22, Shirley Estella, permission for new garage, breezeway, carport, having a side yard of 14 feet, resident requires 14 feet. Floor area ratio, 27.6%, permitted 25%. Southeast corner of Appomattox Street, 20 Prospect Avenue, Central New York. Is there anyone here for the applicant? All right, take your time, be careful. Take it easy, wait till you get to the podium. That close?
No, I'm all right. I made it. Somebody left this, oh, public notice. All right.
Put the mic up and speak into it, please.
Oh, yes, Paul, though. All right. How's that?
Perfect.
For the public watching.
All right, I just want to say that this
Name and
isn't
address for
something-
the record, please, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, my name?
Yes, and
Address?
Yep.
David John Ryder, 14 Oakcrest Avenue, Middle Island, New York.
How are you tonight?
Yes, Reiter. You're welcome. I sense a lot of the things you deal with are current. This stuff from my mother-in-law, who's 78 years old, and my father-in-law passed away in 2014. She's just been in that house, and this is 63 years later. She bought the house with the garage. The garage was there, and I actually have a permit.
The carport's the issue, sir. I don't think they're nothing. The side yard for the carport, I believe, is the issue.
Yeah, it's
4 feet instead of 14.
Yeah.
The floor area ratio is fine. We see up to 30%. You're at 27.6. That's fine. Deidre, any precedent for carports in the area for a 4-foot side yard?
How long? Why are you here tonight? You selling? They're selling the property. What brought you here?
No, they've been after my mother-in-law since December of 2018.
You have violations on this?
Yeah, they're saying she doesn't have permits.
Permits for what?
Garage, breezeway, and that carport.
And what? Did you get a business code enforcement?
Yeah, she did. I believe that's what happened. I mean, actually, tomorrow they want her to appear in 5th District Court.
Well, she has to appear, but nothing will happen.
Yeah. Yeah, there was somebody came and somebody pulled up on her, and these infractions were found, and it's been going on since December of 2018. My mother was not really able, and she hasn't been able to get here.
So back in 75, there was an alteration converting existing carport to living space. I'm assuming that's the first one story that's attached to the house.
Yes, that's originally attached to that Sid
So then-
Barber home, that house.
So that one-story garage was probably built with carport after 1975.
No, I actually have right here, a permit. We were digging around with my in-laws' stuff from 1963.
Yeah, but there have been 2 carports essentially in the property. The original one was then converted to living space. And then they added on a second one.
After the attached garage,
Right.
which brings it right 4 feet.
That second one, that's the problem.
Yes, it is.
There's no permit for that second.
Right. I guess not. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's the only problem. Everything else.
It's 4 instead of 14, so. Huh?
They put it back without wrecking the whole thing.
So are you willing to take the carport off? Because I think this will all go away if the carport was removed.
It's just 3 4x4 studs holding it up. So it's the roof line, because it's all open. So it's like I'll say not bothering anybody. It's been there for years.
The problem is when you're that close to water, snow, all this stuff blows off onto this property. That's one of the So what I think the chairman is indicating to you is that none of us really have the desire to grant this application. That's good. We could do everything else, but the carport is just one of us. So, not going to seek that relief from the carport. That's what needs to be approved.
So you're saying
Remove the
to
carport.
remove the
and keep
carport.
it front.
We'll give you time.
6 months?
I think
That's honestly, sir. That's you could. We could vote on it if you want to try for the relief, but I'm not. As you heard, Mr. Messina, I'm not sure it's going to end up in a
Yeah.
favorable decision for you. The problem is, sir, we see carports many times a month, a year, and we deny them all the time because it's too close to the. If we grant this, they're going to come back every other time and say, well, that house has 4-foot carport. Why can't we? And then there goes the code out the window. So we're here to uphold the code, right? We can bend it a little, but we have to uphold it. And the carport is just way too close. So if we remove that, I think everything else is fine, in my opinion.
I think she's willing to remove. I think she is. Yeah.
Right. Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan will take a motion.
Chairman, I move to deny the carport on the side yard of 4 feet instead of 14 and grant the balance of the application.
All in favor? Thank you, sir. Have a great night. Careful
Thank you.
walking out of here.
Thank you, thank you.
You have, yeah, when you have 6, we'll put in that you have 6 months.
Tell them that in court, that was your decision. You can remove the carport and you have 6 months to do that. Tell them that when you go to court.
Okay, she has paid for the ZBA, right, and she paid for permits, things back in
You
March.
get a building permit back for everything else, it's fine.
Are they gonna direct me now what she needs next?
Yep, they will.
Okay, all right.
The building department. Yep.
All right.
When you get the decision in the mail, bring it to court.
Okay.
Bring it to the building department.
Someone is going for her tomorrow?
I,
Okay, good.
yeah,
So you can
Sorry.
let them know what-
yes,
Thank you.
all right. You guys are great, thank you.
Have a great night.
Next application was previously adjourned from January 4th, 2022, and was 020-22 George Pratt, admission to the accessory structure, house, and currently a second dwelling. Having a side yard of 3.17 instead of the required 10 feet, and a front yard of 40 feet instead of the 50 feet required, material highway setback of 60 feet, entrance platform having front yard 37 feet, or less than 9 feet, pergola and deck having front yard 40 feet, material height setback of 60 feet, usually the fence having front yard 3.3 feet, instead of like 10 feet, residence district, residence 20 Western Drive, North, Councilman, New York, sir, your name and address.
George Prague, 2723 Ocean Avenue, Ronkonkoma, New York, 11779.
How are you tonight, sir?
Good.
You were,
Why did we adjourn?
I was told to talk to Deirdre in planning regarding the garage, because I converted the garage into an apartment. And I'm gonna,
Did you do that? Talk to her?
yes. And the outcome is,
Brian, what do you have to say as a result of your conversation?
so if you were to convert it back to detached structure garage,
no, there was no, I have the original deed from when I bought the house. You told me to bring that.
so if it comes back to original state, planning has no objection. How about for the rest of the application?
I'm seeking approval for the rest of it, for the pool, the fence, the deck, and the pergola.
Right, Peter, planning any objection to the rest of the application? And that's because it's on Expressway Drive North, York, Zero Highway. Something else. You good with that? You good with that?
So you spoke with somebody in the building department, and they advised you as to exactly what steps have to be taken to convert it.
Yes, they told me I have to remove the kitchen and the bathroom, the rooms and stuff. They said I could leave as like, a recreational area, as long as there's no kitchen or bathroom in there.
Okay. So if you do that and convert it back to its original state, I think everything else will be okay. You can vote on it.
All right. The only thing I ask is if I could have 6 months to do that, because I have to move my daughter out and I have to do the work.
I don't see a problem with that. You doing good? Well, we're gonna leave the accessory structure as a second dwelling. Yeah. Would we need to amend it? Or? Okay. Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Messina, take a motion.
I need to swear, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I move to deny that portion of the application to leave the accessory structure as a furnished move to grant the application for moving as an accessory structure in compliance with the conditions of the code of the town of Islip and to grant the balance.
Second. All in favor? Let me give them 6 months, correct?
That's 6 months.
Okay, now, do I come back here in 6 months, or what do I do in 6
Nope.
months? Just go to the building?
We would love
department?
to see you again, but you don't have to.
I
Come
just,
visit.
after that, I go to the building department?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
If you want to come visit, you can watch us online.
Thank you very much.
Have a great night.
It's a great setting. All right, next application is number 162-22. Venus A. Baptista, approved permission to roof over cellar entrances having side yards of 3.5 feet and 10 feet. That requires 14 feet each, includes 6-foot fence having the second front yard of 1 foot, that requires 4 feet. As District Southwest corner of Department Avenue, Street, Brentwood, New York. Gentlemen, your names and addresses for the record, please.
Good evening. How you doing?
Speak
Good
into the
afternoon.
microphone.
Oh, good afternoon.
Good
How you
evening.
doing?
How are you?
How's everybody? He's my cousin. He's Eddie. I just come here to try this. You know, he doesn't speak English, so I came to help him.
Great. And your name?
My name is Eddie Rosales.
Okay. And where do you live? What's your address?
My address is 22 MacArthur Avenue in Brentwood, New York.
His address.
22 MacArthur Avenue, Brentwood, New York.
Great.
Rosales. Rosales.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so you have 2 roofed over cellar entrances.
Yes.
A little bit too close.
Yes.
We don't have any precedent, Deidre, for, is the cellar entrance that's on the, I guess you'd call it, northeasterly side?
Yes, actually it's two though. It's one on the, I think
Yep.
one north is two of them. So we tried to either get one legal or something, but we want one at least, you know.
So the cellar entrance that's on the southerly, I guess you want to call it southerly, southeasterly side of the property, rear of the property, are you good with that, or that's still too close to?
Yeah.
Is there walls around the side of it?
No, there's no walls.
How high?
Oh, the roof on the entrance, like 6 feet.
And just to clarify, Dan is right in that, Dan, if it didn't have a roof over it, and if the house had a conforming side yard, there would be a permitted encroachment exception for a cellar entrance. So the roof knocks it out of the permitted encroachment box right away. This one's further knocked out by the fact that the house doesn't enjoy it in front of the side yard.
To leave the second cellar.
Yeah.
Well, only if the house enjoyed it in front of the side yard.
So what you're saying is have them take the enclosure off. That the other one,
Well, this one.
without the roof, right? You understand, the large cellar entrance with the roof over it?
Yes.
You'd have to take the roof off of that one,
Okay.
and we will take a vote on keeping the cellar entrance with no roof on that side.
Okay.
And then the rear one,
Mhm.
we'll take a vote on leaving with the roofed over on that.
Okay. That's good.
And when we also have a 6-foot fence, having a second front yard of 1 foot instead of 10. That's on Patton Street.
Yeah.
What's we're gonna have to. Yeah. it's a long side. Is there plantings or something in front of that I see, or is that just a shadow? Shadow from what? This is nothing that's good behind. I mean, there's plantings in front of it.
What year is that image? 10 years old.
So the fence has to be on Patton Street, has to be moved into 10 feet if you want, or cut down to 4 feet.
Oh, okay.
So you want to move it in or cut it down?
Cut it down.
Cut it down to 4 feet?
I gotta take a. Yeah, we move it. We move it.
Move it? Okay,
Move
you
it,
have to
yeah.
either move it into 10 feet off
Yeah.
the property line or cut it down to 4 feet if you want to keep it there.
We're gonna move it.
Okay. So you're going to remove that enclosed cellar entrance on the side,
Yeah.
just the enclosure of it.
Yeah, the one, you're talking about the one in Patton Avenue, right?
What's that?
You're talking about the one in Patton Avenue, the fence?
Say it one more time.
The fence, the one on Patton
On
Avenue?
Patton, yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I can't hear you. I
No, it's
apologize.
all right.
All right, does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan will take a motion.
Going to move to deny fence. To grant the remainder of the application as long as the roof over is taken off of the larger enclosed stay. The one at 3.5.
All in favor? Have a great night, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Good night. Thank you.
Next application, number 163-22, we're gonna waive the. Cadmium Holdings LLC, permission to subdivide lot into two parcels. Lot 1, a two-story dwelling on a lot having a area of 70 square feet, instead of the required 7,500 square feet. Lot 2, to erect two-story dwelling on a lot having a width of 50 feet, instead of required 75 feet. Lot area of 6,250 feet, instead of required 7,500 square feet. Side yards of 12 feet, instead of 14 feet. Total side yards of 24 feet, instead of 8 feet. Floor area ratio of 28%, instead of 5%. Residential district, outside of Powell Street, 70 feet. Facial New York. Welcome to the town.
Evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Joseph F. Buzzell, Buzzell Bland of Visconti, 535 Broad Hollow Road, Suite B4 in Melville. The application tonight concerns two parcels, tax map 315-1, 96 and 98. Those two lots form an L wrapping around the corner property at the intersection of North Fifth Avenue and Palfrey Street. The lots were created back in 1901 by the map of Bayshore Manor. They're level in grade and they're zoned Residence B. Lot 98 is located on the east side of Fifth. It's 75 feet wide by 97.8 feet deep. The odd depth is due to the widening of Fifth Avenue. It has 7,348 square feet, improved with a two-story single-family home built in 1910. The C of C was issued yesterday, and it was has been in the process for a little while, but it was issued yesterday. Again, the house goes back to 1910. The on lot 96 is on the north side of Palfrey, 100 feet or one lot east of Fifth, 50 feet of frontage, 125 feet of depth, 6,250 square feet, and is vacant. The lots again form an L. They abut at the rear. They are not side by side. That orientation goes back to the 1901 map. The lot they wrap around is 50 by 97.9 minus the corner cut. It's under 4,800 square feet. It's improved with a house. We're here seeking to re-subdivide those parcels and again establish them as separate lots. Lot 98, the one on Fifth, 7,348 feet in a Residence B. It is 98% compliant. 2% or 152 square feet is de minimis. And the reason it's shy is because the county widened the road.
So, Mr. Bazell, do you have any,
Yes, actually, there are two I noticed.
Wait, you want to hear what I want to say? Then-
Okay, I'll back that up.
50-foot lots.
There are, we were able
I
to,
can tell you, I've spent many years in the town attorney's office litigating against grant applications for 50.
as did I when I was with the town of Babylon. You know, there were two that we found. The first one is about, from the lot on Palfrey, it's about 150 feet away. It's directly across Fifth Avenue. It is, I actually have a copy. The application is Oscar Carrera, October of 2017. It's tax lot 315-143, so it's directly across North Fifth on the south side. And I'll turn in a few copies. The other one is located, and that obviously is on the 200-foot radius. The second is, I didn't name this company, Florida Blah. Florida MLA. Application 1609 of 15. It is one block and one house to the south on Fifth. Both of those lots were,
What's that in distance? One block and one.
well, it would make
Is
it
like a standard distance for blocks, like a cubic?
Pan up. just a
You
little
know,
bit.
if we had our other board member here, he'd ask you.
Oh, my goodness.
Is it in the radius?
I'm obviously disappointed in that. Both of those lots were 12% smaller than the lot
How
on
far away
Palfrey.
is it roughly, if anyone?
It's in the 500-foot map.
It is, okay.
That's fine.
It's in the 500-foot map. And both of those lots were 12% smaller. Both of them enter and exit on North Fifth. Here we're on Palfrey. Across Palfrey is the Knights of Columbus.
The rest of your application.
I'm assuming,
To me,
yeah, I'm with you. I'm assuming Deirdre from planning has no objection. Or question.
I mean, I hate it. I have to tell you, I hate it. But you have the precedent for it in your title. So, the law is the law. That's what we get from.
I think we got to fight him a little bit, Mr. Wexler.
Mr. West is capable of fighting his own battles. Better than what people think of me.
Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan will take a motion. All in favor?
Thank you very much. Have a good night,
Great
everybody.
Good to see you.
Good. Have a great night.
All right, our next application. Number 164-22, South Second Enterprise LLC. Is a concrete block wall on the side of the property line, not having required setback of 4 feet. To erect 6-foot fence top of the wall, resulting in height of 8 feet, permitted 6 feet. To erect an 8-foot fence, instead of 6 feet. Industrial 2 District, south side of South Second Street in 890, unregistered 1.62 feet east. York, New Whalen, welcome, name and address for the record. please.
Good evening, Chairman, members of the board, ladies of the board. My name is Janice Whalen. My office is at 23 Green Street, Huntington, New York, and I represent the applicant, South 2nd Street Enterprises. My request tonight is simple. We purchased this property about a year ago, and it's actually the second time I've been involved in zoning on this site. When my client purchased the property, there were maybe about 150 concrete blocks left on the property by a predecessor in interest.
Who's the prior owner?
Well, immediately prior, it was Boilerman Enterprises. I don't know who it was before that, but I tend to think it might have been related to the concrete yard behind us. Because it looks like some of those concrete blocks that are on our property are on the property. I don't know the name of it, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. So basically, what we have is our client is a scaffolding business. It's a family business. We have a main site in Long Island City. We need a secondary site to store lumber, steel panels, aluminum. We've already gotten a change of zone through resolution of the town board. We've had the planning department look at this, the planning board look at it, and we're under engineering review right now. And
So
on,
the plan that you presented to me tonight, is that what was presented to the town board?
yes, it was. Basically, we're seeking the concrete blocks because it would just be too much of an expense to move them. And the height of the fence, because construction materials have a real premium, so it's a security concern.
Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, move to grant the application.
All in favor?
Thank,
Application granted. Have a great night.
thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Our last application is number 265-22. Arlene Martinez, permission to leave pool patio having a side yard of 1.7 feet instead of the required 6 feet as in subroad district. North side of Avenue Street, number 249, 207.5 feet east of Belmore Avenue, Islip Terrace, New York. Your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Arlene Martinez, 249 Amityville Street, Islip Terrace, New York, 11752.
Robert Mulle, M-U-L-L-E, 249 Amityville Street.
How are you today?
We're well. Thank you very much for seeing me at this time. I had a class earlier, so I apologize. Thank you.
No problem. So you have a small pool patio, pavers, looks like it's pervious, 1.7 instead of 6. It's a very small piece of the side property line. I don't have an issue with it. I'm not sure. You have an issue with it?
Please don't make me cry.
Does anyone wish to be heard in this application? Does the board have any questions? Mr. Sullivan, I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, move to grant the application.
I'll second.
All in favor? Application granted.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good evening. I
Have a
appreciate your
wonderful
flexibility.
No problem.
You have 3-second calls, Mr. Chairman. First, hold of you, well, you know what, in light of the fact that there's
No one
in the
here.
audience, we'll take it.
Can I hit the
Here.
bedroom really?
Go ahead, John's gonna be funny.
Do we have any readings?
We do, we do. Can
Do
you
we-
go to the bed? When you
Do
get
it every
ready,
once, Mr. Chairman.
hurry up.
Do we have to, get his open?
No, we have to stay on it.
How we do
You sure?
All right. So do we have any appointments?
We have 20.
We have 20. I'll make a motion to approve all.
that? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Application number 128-16, Linda and Andrew Nolan. In accordance with the proposed written decision dated March 15, 2022, the application is granted. On motion of,
Second.
All in favor?
application number 781-21, Kenneth and Carol Ann Sorrell. In accordance with the proposed written decision dated March 15, 2022, the application is granted. On motion of,
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
application number 493-21, Renaissance Hills Properties LLC. In accordance with the proposed written decision dated March 15, 2022, the application is granted as amended by post-hearing submission. On motion of,
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All right, with that, Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn.
For the evening. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.